spring training invitees. We'll tell you the ones that you need to know. Also, will we have the most fluid Dodgers lineup that we've had in the entire time with Dave Roberts? Anthony Banda could be dealt. Got some nuggets on Banda. Got a chance to reach out to him. And we've got the first edition of the Dodgers Dugout Live call-ins. First round of calls. Excited to play those on the show. Some really good questions there. We'll get into all that and things you need to know. Important dates for spring training. Baseball is almost here. That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball. Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You got it, Roy, a parade. We got a parade. The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series. Ohtani starts the 50-50 club. Milky Magic. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone. Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out. What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers podcast and Dodgers show on YouTube. My name is Doug McKain. I cover the Dodgers for Dodgers Nation, a credentialed member of the media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. If you're new to the show, do us a huge favor. Drop a subscribe, smash that like button. Also, drop a comment on the show. What are you most looking forward to in Dodgers spring training? Today's Dodgers Dugout Live poll question of the show. I asked you guys over on the X, are you going to spring training? And right now, 62% of Dodgers fans say yes. 48% say no. So a lot of Dodgers fans, at least early in this poll, are going to be heading out to Arizona down to Camelback Ranch to see their boys in blue. If you have not been, I definitely recommend doing it. It's a great experiencing baseball in its purest form, seeing a lot of your favorite players up close and personal. It's a really, really cool thing. If you have a chance, if you haven't yet, it's a great way to experience Dodger baseball. I cannot recommend it more. It's just a great, great time. Now, today's episode is brought to you by the LA Sports Report. This is my new show about all LA sports. Lots of Dodgers topics and Dodgers takes. Some stories we don't even cover over there. Some live breakdowns you'll see over there. We're getting close to 6,000 subs, a little over a couple months. So that's definitely really exciting. And once we hit that, we're going to give away that Kyle Tucker jersey. All you have to do is go to my Twitter, retweet this tweet that I'll pin there, and then comment King Tuck in the comment section, and you'll be eligible to win a number 30 Dodgers authentic Kyle Tucker jersey. So excited about that. Also, show's brought to you by GearUp.LA, the best Dodgers t-shirts in the game. You can find it over at GearUp.LA, so get merched up. But there is so much to get into. I see some comments. Baseball is back. It feels that way, doesn't it? So many comments, so many topics, but there's so much to get into in the world of Dodger baseball, so let's get right into it.
Leading off, the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
All right, the hottest story in Dodger baseball is we have the Dodgers spring training non-roster invitees for the 2026 season. And total, we have 32 non-roster players that will be at Big League Camp. You got a combination of vets, you've got some reclamation projects, you have some young up-and-coming prospects, names that you expect to see there. Last year, for spring training, the Dodgers had 27 non-roster invitees at their big league camp, and 9 of them ultimately would play for the Dodgers in the regular season. Also, you had some that played during the postseason. Guys like Roki Sasaki, Dalton Rushing, of course, played a role in the regular season. Justin Dean, most notably, played a role there with his hands up there in Game 6 of the World Series. He played in the postseason. So that list you got guys that had some form of an impact. So if you are a hardcore Dodgers fan, this is the show for you. If you are, with a hardcore Dodgers fans Dodgers show, you want to know about these guys because one of them, two of them, three of them, four of them, five of them, six of them, seven of them, eight of them, who knows how many, depending on how healthy this team is. And anytime you have a Dodgers team that is trying to three-peat, that's won back-to-back World Series titles, that has played as much baseball as this team has played, making these deep postseason runs, you have to expect a level of attrition. You have to bake in some either injury time or some rest for players that they're just not going to push if they are dealing with anything. They're going to be cautious when it comes to the veterans on this team. Guys like Max Muncy or Tommy Edman or guys nursing injuries and things like that. So they do a great job in developing this part of the roster, and all the haters around the league that say, D-Mac, the Dodgers ruining baseball. They just focus on the Shohei Ohtanis and Mookie Bettses and Freddie Freemans and Yamamotos. But guess what? It was the Miguel Rojas's, the Justin Deans, the Will Kleins, that part of the roster that really put the Dodgers over the top and helped them on the margins. And without those guys, I don't think the Dodgers are back-to-back World Series champions. So it is a very important thing that the Dodgers do is develop this part of the roster. So let's get into it. You got 32, as we said, of the initial non-roster invitees, 17 pitchers, 5 catchers, and 10 position players. So let's run down the pitchers. You've got right-handed pitcher Patrick Copen. He was in spring training for the Dodgers at the minor league level last year. The highest level that he's reached is AA. He'll be 24 this season. LA picked him up in the 7th round of the 2023 draft. And you might know his story, which is one of perseverance. He got hit with a line drive off his face. He lost his vision in his right eye. That's how his 2024 season ended. And then a really nice bounce back year, getting back on the mound for this organization back in 2025, posting a 3.59 ERA in 117 and 2/3 innings of work, made 26 starts in Great Lakes, also in Tulsa. He also led all Dodgers minor league pitchers with 152 strikeouts. So I'm going to catch up with Patrick Copen and just talk to him about his story, his journey there, because it certainly is a one that is inspiring, to be honest, the way he's persevered. Kind of go through some of these guys' quick hitter style. You got Carlos Duran. He was a non-roster invite last season. He has played at the major league level. The Dodgers picked him up in a minor league deal on December 12th this past year, and he was originally signed with the Dodgers out of the Dominican Republic back in 2018. Last April, he was included in the deal to the A's for Esther Ruiz, and he ended up making his big league debut with the A's. Did not pitch very well, gave up 3 runs, was only able to record just 1 out. He was outright off the A's roster, and he had a 5.74 ERA in AAA, but he's another interesting name. You got Jackson Ferris. Jackson Ferris, who my friend Casey Porter predicts will make his big league debut this season. The Dodgers picked him up in January of 2024 in the Michael Busch trade. He's been on a lot of top prospects lists. He's in the top 100 prospects list in most publications. And he also won the Branch Rickey Award as the Dodgers minor league pitcher of the year for the 2024 season. Last year in Tulsa, did not kind of take that step forward as I hoped. When you look at his overall numbers, a 3.86 ERA in 126 innings, the strikeout rate was a little down, went from 27.4% to 24.2%, and the walk rate went up a little bit from 10.8% to 11.8%. But down when he really started to turn the corner was down the final stretch of the season, because at one point he had a 6.58 ERA in his first 12 starts, but then he had a 2.19 ERA in his last 14 starts. So I hope he picks up on that momentum. Gave just 3 home runs in that stretch. I think Jackson Ferris is a name to keep your eye on for sure. You got Chris Campos, the right-handed pitcher. He was at AA Tulsa all year last year at a 4.19 ERA, 111 punchies, 32 walks. He It also went 126 and 2/3 in those games. So he's another name out of the pitching side. You've got Luke Fox, 17th round pick in 2023. Nick Frasso is going to be an interesting one. I've seen video of him down at Camelback Ranch, always getting his throwing in already, trying to get a step forward on just trying to be the pitcher that a lot of people in the organization hoped that he was going to be a couple of seasons ago before this shoulder injury. The Dodgers, of course, got him in the Mitch White deal back in 2022. He was on the 40-man roster for the last couple of years, but has still yet to make his big league debut. Had a hip injury that ended his 2024 season, and then the surgeries on top of that. I mean, you're looking at kind of an extended run back, but he did have a nice stretch in 2025 to at least get that experience. He had a 5.49 ERA in 43 games for AAA Oklahoma City in 2025, 68 punch-outs to 42 walks. The Dodgers non-tendered him in November, but they brought him back on a minor league deal in around mid-December. So he's back. He's 27, local kid, LMU, so we'll see what he can do. Right-handed pitcher Carson Hobbs, a 11th round draft pick in 2023. He really was solid last year for Great Lakes and Tulsa, 2.04 ERA. The strikeouts, not incredible, but the walk rate really low, a 20.9 strikeout to walk rate, third best of all Dodgers in the minor league system that was down there. So, look, there's potential there. You got Cole Irvin. Interesting is we've talked about him recently. The Dodgers picked him up on a minor league deal earlier this month. He's 32. He pitched in the KBO. He has started parts of 6 seasons at the big league level. And in the KBO, he had a 4.48 ERA in 28 starts. So he's an interesting depth piece. Certainly has a lot of experience. He's pitched for the Phillies, A's, Orioles, and Twins. And he had that funny moment in the KBO where he kind of shoved his manager kind of when he was going off the mound there. A little moment of frustration. Left-handed pitcher Antoine Kelly. The Dodgers picked him up on a minor league deal back in November. He was a second-round pick from the Brewers in 2019. He's pitched at the minor league level for the Brewers for 6 seasons, as well as the Rangers and Rockies. Had a 5.63 ERA in 34 appearances in AAA last season, 41 strikeouts and 27 walks. So the big key for him is just to try to take the Dodgers coaching in and see if he can turn the corner. Left-handed pitcher Garrett McDaniels. He was a returnee from the Rule 5 draft on June 14th last season. He did not have a lot of success in his stint at the big league level for the Angels, but with the Dodgers, when he came back, a 3.30 ERA in 25 games for AAA Oklahoma City, 36 punch-outs to 17 free passes and 30 innings of work. Right-handed pitcher Jose Rodriguez, international free agent in 2019. He wasn't picked up in the Rule 5 draft. The Dodgers kept him, so it hasn't been great. A 5.5 ERA at AA and AAA last season. But intriguing thing about him is he does have an above average strikeout rate, 34.1%. The walk rate, unfortunately, is also high at 14.2%. He is a top 30 prospect for the Dodgers, though, ranked 29th in Major League Baseball for Baseball America. Also in the top 30 in most publications, including Fangraphs as well. You got Wyatt Mills, minor league free agent, August 16th. They picked him up, and he has pitched the big league level for parts of a couple of seasons. Was a Tommy John surgery guy, missed the 23 and 24 seasons. AAA last year, though, a 3.12 ERA in 52 innings, 49 punch-outs. Right-handed pitcher Jermaine Rosario, international free agent back in 2018. You got Ryder Ryan, the right-handed pitcher, the brother of River Ryan, the older brother, and he's pitched at the big league level for the Mariners, the Pirates. Last year with the Bucks in their system, a 4.73 ERA in 42 games. Did pitch a good amount of innings, 72 and a third. So it'll be interesting to see if he'll be a better, more complete pitcher pitching organization with the great story with his brother. You also have Jordan Weems. He's on the older side, 33, minor league free agent. February 9th, they picked him up this year. And, yeah, he's another guy, good amount of experience in the show. He gave up 7 runs in 4 1/3 innings for the Astros last season. In AAA, had a 4.44 ERA. So he's a depth piece for sure. Adam Serenowski, this is an interesting one. The Dodgers picked him up there in that 3-team trade at the trade deadline, where you had Paul Gervais, you had Hunter Fiducia, you had Ben Rortvedt. He was in that trade, and he's another interesting name just because he had a really strong finish to his season, a 1.83 ERA. He won the Midwest League Pitcher of the Month award for August, and he was really, 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 really good there for Tulsa. Looked absolutely dominant at times, 44 strikeouts. And those 6 starts where he just was really, really good. There's definitely a good amount of potential there. He's still very young too, just 22 years old. You got Lucas Wepf is the last pitcher. He was a non-drafted free agent, 2.79 ERA in 23 games for Tulsa. And, he did end the season injured, but he's another interesting name. Catchers, you got Eliezer Alfonso. The Dodgers picked him up as a minor league free agent back in November of last season. You got Griffin Lockwood Powell, another non-drafted free agent. Nelson Quiroz, he's a international free agent back in 2019. And probably the most notable is Chucky Robinson. He's 31, but the Dodgers, they've had their eye on him picking up a couple different times. They signed him to a minor league deal back in December. And he was on the 40-man roster for the Angels, the Dodgers, and he's also with the Braves last season. So he did just play in 1 game, and it was with LA back in September. He finished his season with the Braves, the minors, but he's another guy that's a quality depth piece, kind of a breaking case emergency catcher that you at least feel confident can play at the big league level. Then Sebi Zavala, he was a minor league free agent that they picked up earlier this month. So a lot of these names were not actually reported at the time. So he's a AAA level catcher. Last year hit 165 for AAA. So more of a defensive backstop, but you need those guys. Now on the position player side, so where it gets interesting for sure, you got Chris Newell, 2022 draft pick in the 13th round, was 18% above league average offensively. Also, Noah Miller, he was included in the trade with the Twins back in 2024. He was in the deal that featured Manuel Margot. And Miller, down AAA, hit 238, 269 on base, a 344 slug. But the defense is really good. He's someone that's a plus defender. He definitely has that ability as an infield piece. I mean, he's a shortstop. And, yeah, he's been one of the better defenders down there. It's just, can he hit? So that's an interesting one. Zaire Hope, Josue DePaula. We'll talk about those names in a second here. But Matt Gorski, first baseman, outfielder as well. The Dodgers signed him as a minor league free agent last summer. He has played at the big league level. He played for the Pirates for his major league debut last April. He was released in July. The Dodgers signed him to a minor league deal, and he was injured. So he still hasn't played a game for this Dodgers organization, but they clearly see something in him. Kendall George, the Dodgers' first-round pick back in 2023. He's fast. He stole 100 bases last year for Great Lakes, and he also improved his offense. Hit 295 with a 131 weighted runs created plus. Made it to high A. We'll see how his career progresses. If he can hit, he could be a weapon. Ryan Fitzgerald, the Dodgers claimed him off waivers on January 9th. He fits that utility Swiss Army knife type of player that can play multiple positions. He's a left-handed hitter, and he has started all three of the outfield spots, corner, center, and also he can play shortstop, second base, and third base. So he's got positional versatility. He was DFA'd when the Dodgers signed Anthony Banda back in mid-January, but then he cleared waivers and he was outrighted to the minors. So Ryan Fitzgerald, a name to kind of keep your eye on. Of course, kind of give those James Outman vibes. Zach Earhart, he was included in the trade with the Red Sox in July, the Dustin May deal. And Earhart hit 282, was 43% above league average per weighted runs created plus, and had 13 extra base hits in 35 games for AA Tulsa. It's an interesting name. Then how about Nick Senzel? So Nick Senzel, he has got a good amount of big league experience, played with the Reds, the Nationals, the White Sox, and in 2025, he played a multitude of positions: third base, right field, left field, played short, second base, and center field. So the Dodgers signed him as a minor league free agent back in May of last season. Last year, he was in the Mexican leagues to start the year. So he's 31. We'll see. Is he a 4A player? Will he get an opportunity? And then you got James Tibbs. So James Tibbs is really interesting. James Tibbs the third. Very, very professional there. Very fancy. He was the Giants' first-round pick, the San Francisco Giants' first-round pick in 2024, and he was included in the Rafael Devers trade, and then he was included in the deal for Dustin May at the deadline in late July, and he raked for Tulsa. I mean, he was he definitely was a guy that certainly showed a lot of promise, and you're seeing a guy that hit 269, slugged 493, a 155 weighted runs created plus at 7 bombs in 36 games. And he's been climbing up on the prospects list. You see him in top 10 in most Dodgers prospect lists. So that's definitely promising. And then you've got the Zaire Hopes and then the Josue DePaulas. So couple of days ago, I had Casey Porter on the show, and we talked about Josue DePaula, and we talked about Zaire Hope, and we talked about some of these other Dodgers prospects. Here's what Casey Porter, who in my opinion is top 2, not 2, when it comes to talking Dodgers prospects. Of course, him and Tim Rogers, right neck and neck for sure. And I always love talking to those guys because they know ball, but also they spend extra attention on the prospects. Here was Casey Porter talking about the potential of Josue DePaula and Zaire Hope. And when we come back, we're going to hear from you guys. We got our first phone-in Dodgers Dugout Live voicemail segment. But here was Casey Porter on the other Dodgers non-roster invitees.
Josue DePaula at number 2. That's got to be the most talked about Dodgers prospect in quite some time. 6'3", 185, bats left, throws lefts, 21. What are your thoughts on his trajectory, and what do you think he needs to do to level up this season?
I just wish people would pump the jets on this young man. He's 21 years old. Okay. I mean, he's going to be a good player. The baby Jordan, all those kinds of deals. All that stuff is great. And I know the players, they would say, hey, we don't pay attention to that. There's no way you can get away from it. I sat next to Diego Cartaya's mom and dad on multiple occasions at the AA level. And I can tell you they were struggling. I mean, whenever you put this amount of pressure on a young man to do this or that in one of the hardest things to do in sport, which is hit a baseball, which is what he is. He's a hit first guy. It's always a situation to where I am more cautious than I am, just excited to go out and overhype a guy. So if I sound like I'm not overhyping Josue DePaula, it's not because I don't think he's a good player. It's because I think it would behoove him if people just chilled out and let him develop as a young player before they started putting all these next Jordan Alvarez type tags on him. Now, as far as the player goes, let's get real. Okay. Is he an elite outfielder? I don't think so. Could he play first base? maybe, but right now he's not hitting home runs. First base, not a ton of home runs, but first base is a position you're probably going to want a few more home runs. Now, that's not to say he doesn't hit the ball hard enough to hit home runs. His impact on the ball and exit velos are great. They just come out at a lower trajectory. I've actually broke his swing down, and a lot of his adjustments actually are at the front of the zone, which leads to a lot of lower line drives. So I think you probably have to which sounds kind of weird. I broke it down on a video. I think there's some things he could do to get the ball in the air, but you're talking about swing changes and trying to do that at the AA level with the amount of pressure that he has on him. If you make a swing change and come July, you're hitting about $190, then people are going to start going, well, what the heck is wrong with Shohei Ohtani? So I think there is some tweenerism to his game on the defensive side of the ball. I think there's maybe some debate as to, okay, do we tweak some things to get him to hit the ball in the air more so we can take advantage of the excellent impact that he puts on the ball? So I think there's some tweenerism there as far as that goes. Now, obviously, the things that he does great, he has a better strike zone, as Tim Rogers, wonderful Tim Rogers of Dodgers 2080 Blue Madness. You haven't been over there, go check him out. He had a wonderful, you and both had wonderful interviews with River Ryan. Tim Rogers would say, he knows the strike zone better than the umpires, right? But here's what I think is going to be interesting to watch with that plate discipline. At the lower ranks of the minor league level, when pitchers don't thrust those strikes, then when you take pitches, it's ball one. As you go up in the minor leagues, especially at the AAA level, when you're facing guys that have major league experience, if you take too many pitches, it's going to be strike one instead of ball one. And so I'm curious to see if he's going to have to start swinging the bat a little bit more as he goes on and starts being a little bit less selective as the pitching gets better. I think that's the cat and mouse game. That cat and mouse game for Shohei Ohtani, the cat and mouse game of can he raise his launch angles, and then the cat and mouse game of where does he play defensively?
See, that's so fascinating to me because you look at the numbers. I mean, very disciplined. He swings at pitches in the zone 68% of the time. He doesn't chase. He hits the ball hard. But as you point out, 12 home runs in 102 games. For a prospect at his stage in his development, how much of that is going to be a conscientious approach thing to say, hey, like I need to be showing teams I can hit 25 to 30 home runs and continue to raise my stock? Or is it, hey, just play your game and everything will figure itself out?
Shohei Ohtani has become the Dodgers' number one prospect, being Shohei Ohtani. Let me take you back to a AAA guy that's probably not even going to get an opportunity this year. He's not on the 40-man yet. I think he will eventually be a major leaguer. Austin Gauthier. You know Gator. We all love Gator, right? He's just kind of caught in a Dodgers organization that is so full of talent that it's hard to get a look. So Gator added 15 pounds. He tried to add lift to his swing. He tried to be everything he's not. And come about the 1st of July last, 90. And he wasn't walking, and he was not being Austin Gauthier. He went back to dedicating himself to what he's always been, walking, hitting the ball the other way, hitting hard line drives, and getting on base. He had one of the best second halves of the season of any minor league player out there, period, in a discussion. So if you're asking me, Shohei Ohtani has become the number one proposition, being Shohei Ohtani. Let the power sort itself out as he goes on. I compare him, I know a lot of people compare him to Yordan Alvarez. I've actually analyzed his swing, put him next to Rafael Palmeiro. I think his swing and everything, the way he sets up, is a carbon copy of Rafael Palmeiro. And if you notice, as Palmeiro, now I know there are some external circumstances there we will not get into. That's an entirely different set of, that's probably a whole season worth of shows there. But I think the power can increase as far as getting the ball in the air, kind of similar to that flight right there if you analyze those two swings. So I would let it happen naturally. I would not tinker with that swing whatsoever. It is such a sweet swing, and I would just kind of let it happen as it goes. And if it doesn't, then you still have a guy that impacts the baseball and is going to hit a ton of doubles.
Replaying Palmeiro's swing in my head, the smoothness, it definitely, you can kind of see those similarities. He did have that hamstring issue where he had that 0 for 18 slump, that 99 play appearance at the All-Star break. So that a really good year, almost as many walks as strikeouts. But do you think that he's going to take a leap this season? And when would you expect him to potentially make his debut in the show?
I wouldn't expect it to be this year. And I just think that's a little bit too soon. I think it's best for him. Double A is the biggest jump. I always say that, Doug, for most guys. You're facing major league talent. Now, are you facing major league execution? Absolutely not. But 2 years ago, the Tulsa Drillers, the Double A team for the Dodgers organization, had the highest average velocity per pitch of any team of any level in professional baseball. That's a Double A team. So you're facing major league stuff at the Double A level. We've seen guys get to Double A and just crash out. I mean, there's a couple things that get you. One is father time. The other is talent level. And a lot of Double A's, a lot of times where the cream starts rising and it starts separating. So this is going to be a huge year. I would warn people, if Shohei Ohtani isn't like the hitting 400 in June, and you look at, I'll give you a perfect case scenario. Jackson Ferris on the pitching side last year. One of the reasons why I'm more convinced that Jackson Ferris is a superstar type of guy is because he struggled for the first half of last year, and it didn't bother him at all. So if you see DePaula in a situation like that, to where he's having to adjust to double all the talent and the high velocity and whatever it may be that makes Double A so difficult, I'm not going to be concerned about it. What I'm going to be interested to watch is to see how he makes his adjustments from that point on. Now, he may just be that good to where he starts dominating Double A baseball right off the bat. Most guys don't. So that would be my warning there.
All right, talk to me about Zaire Hope, number 3 on the list. He's spent pretty much the entire 2025 season in high A. Strikeouts were up. The whiff rate was up. Still, he hits the ball extremely hard. He's an athletic player. What are your thoughts on Zaire Hope and his potential?
Well, I'm going to go back to the first thing I said about Eduardo Quintero, and the fallback where you raise the ceiling here. We kind of mentioned with Shohei Ohtani, where does he play defense? That's one of the biggest problems you have in that scenario. There is no problem with that with Zaire Hope. This is a tremendous athlete. Zaire Hope is a great athlete. He is an incredible human being. I don't mean a good human being, an incredible human being. He's one of the hardest workers you will ever meet. He is all about business. He's all about getting better, doing his work, and showing up every day. So the defensive piece for Zaire Hope is going to match the offensive piece. And I know whenever we talk about prospects, and I'm guilty of it too, because whenever I put their highlights in every day, it's always of them hitting home runs or the offensive side or whatever they're doing offensively. I think I probably do a little bit more defense than most people, and I try to be fair there, but it's harder to get defensive clips. So I'll say this, Zaire Hope is a very good defensive player. He's a great athlete. He's scared of nothing. His routes are good. And by the way, don't forget, he was a pitcher in high school, and whenever he became a professional, there was some debate whether he was going to be a hitter or a pitcher. That goes to show you the arm strength. In terms of the offensive side of the ball, obviously the exit velos, the pull side power is incredible. The opposite field power is incredible. Here's what I really like about Zaire Hope. Okay, we mentioned that, in my opinion, the adjustments for Shohei Ohtani are at the front of the zone. Zaire Hope, if you analyze his swing, he lets the ball get deeper and has more confidence at the back of the zone than any young hitter I think I've seen in a long time. He can take a ball at the back of the zone, which means you don't have as much momentum in your swing, right? So you have to be really strong to hit something at the back of the zone with maximum power, because you don't have the momentum, the forward movement and force to make impact with the baseball. He does as good of a job at the back of the zone as anybody I've seen, which suggests to me, if he has a game plan of which pitches to swing at, I think that immediately cleans up a lot of the swing and miss, because when you let the ball get to the back of the zone like he does, that means you're letting the ball travel that much further. You're seeing spin that much longer. I think a lot of his swing and miss right now is just being in high A and not really having totally accurate game plans in terms of not having enough information on who you're facing. I think he's going to swing and miss
So there he goes, Casey Porter, always dropping knowledge here on Dodgers Dugout Live. We're going to have him throughout the season talking Dodgers prospects. So, yeah, I'll always love talking ball with him. And yeah, he brought some great points about Shohei Ohtani. Is it a little too much hype about him? And Zaire Hope, there's some explanation as to why the swing and miss has been there. But the guys you really need to know about, if you're going to list them, Shohei Ohtani, Zaire Hope, James Tibbs, Zach Earhart. You got Kendall George, Jackson Ferris, Adam Saranowski, so I'm very, very excited to see. I'm curious as to why Mike Sirota did not get a non-roster invitee. I'm trying to kind of get to the bottom of that, but that is where they're at, and we're going to continue to break down these guys as we get closer and closer to spring training, which is this week. Believe it or not, it's already here. Spring training is so close. Pitchers and catchers reports. I'm going to give you some key dates you got to know about. Mark your calendars. Football's over. Basketball's in full swing. But we know it's starting to get a little sunnier later. The sun's not going down as quick. And that usually means a couple things. It means baseball is nearing its return. But Friday, February 13th, I will be at Camelback Ranch reporting for you guys the first workout for pitchers and catchers. Then Tuesday, February 17th, that's the first full squad workout. Saturday, February 21st, is the Dodgers' first Cactus League game against the Angels. Will be on the road in Tempe. Then Monday, February 23rd, the Dodgers' first spring training game at Camelback Ranch. It's going to be against the Mariners. Then Friday, February 27th, the first workouts for Team Japan, and that would mean that Shohei Ohtani and Yoshinobu Yamamoto will be in Tokyo for the WBC. So if you want to go out and see those guys, you're going to have to go to spring training early in the game. Then Wednesday, March 4th, the Dodgers will have an exhibition game against Team Mexico as they ready themselves for the World Baseball Classic. So that's going to be pretty cool. A Dodgers exhibition game against Team Mexico to get ready for the WBC. Then Thursday, March 5th, WBC Pool C play starts in Korea. So Hae-Sung Kim, he will be playing, and Japan as well. Then Friday, March 6th, the WBC Pool B play for Team USA with Will Smith and former Dodger great, I think you know the guy, NBC broadcaster Clayton Kershaw. And you also get the WBC pool play for Puerto Rico where Edwin Diaz will be playing. Then March 13th to the 14th, the WBC quarterfinals will take place in Houston and Miami. And then March 15th and the 16th, the WBC semifinals in Miami. And then Tuesday, March 17th, the WBC finals in Miami. I will be there. Will I be seeing the USA versus Japan? That would be incredible. Saturday, March 21st, the Dodgers' final Cactus League game will take place against the A's at Camelback Ranch. Then also on the 21st, the spring breakout game. You're going to have some Dodgers prospects going against White Sox prospects at Camelback Ranch as well. And then you know the season is really upon us when it's the Freeway Series to start the beginning of the year before opening day. March 22nd to the 21st, to March 22nd to the 24th, the Exhibition Freeway Series against the Anaheim Angels. Sunday in Anaheim, and then Monday it will take place at Dodger Stadium. Then March 26th, opening day, Dodgers, D-backs. It's going to be on NBC, so I'm assuming that Clayton Kershaw is going to be there to accept his ring. It's going to be an incredible, incredible day at Dodger Stadium, and I'm hoping to see Yoshinobu Yamamoto on the mound. But all right, we got our first batch of calls. I got dozens of calls the first day, and I couldn't play them all, so we're going to play them out throughout the week. But you can be a part of Dodgers Dugout Live. Do you want to hear your voice on the most listened to Dodgers show in the world? Japan, the U.S., Dodgers Dugout Live. You guys are my co-hosts on this show. If you do want to hear yourself on this show, you just have to call the number. If you want to call, it's 415-952-3622. That's 415-9LA-DMAC. 415-9LA-DMAC. So when I got yes It's a randomized thing. It's a Bay Area number as far as area code, but that's the easiest one I could get. It could have LA in it, so we're taking over the Bay. So 415-952-3622. If you want to call in, leave me a voicemail, and I will play it on the show. So let's get into the first wave of calls. Here we go. There we go. So our first call in, you guys like that? Our first little call in. Let's get through this. Speaking of Kirsch, let's get the GIF happening here. Clayton Kershaw with the bullpen call. There's our guy Kershaw. Our first caller. We got some friends of the show that just wanted to kind of show some love. I like it when if you guys go off on someone, go off on the Padres, go off on people saying the Dodgers are ruining baseball. Like, go off. The more emotional, the more hype you are, the hotter the take, the better. But hey, anything you guys got. So first, let's hear from a fan of the show who wanted to show his love to Dodgers Dugout Live.
Yo, what's up, D-Mac? Hey, man, love your show, brother. Keep doing your thing. I'm a big Dodgers fan out here in San Diego. Love your show, bro. Just keep it up. Peace.
My man, I wish I could say your name. I wish I knew where you were, but I do know you're in San Diego, in enemy territory. Represent for your boys in blue. We need dudes like you who are driving around, who are going inside the bank, who are running errands, who are going inside Chipotle. I mean, you guys got a lot better burritos down there in Chipotle, so you're at a better place. But rocking Dodgers gear. Represent your boys in blue in enemy territory. So big shout out to you. And then how about our guy Mario showing us some love too?
Hello, Dodger Nation. Let's go. LFG, LPG, let's tuck and go. Yo, D-Mac, what up? Your boy Mario Lancerti. What's up, Noel? Thank you for the merch. Let's go. 3P Brewing. Hope it tastes good for you guys. Shout out to all you guys here in the chat. Roki Sasaki. Hey, let's get that chitter. So wait, he's already halfway there with the splitter, killer splitter. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Go, baby.
There you go, Mario Landaverdi. Rack him. Give him a let's go Dodgers. Let's go Dodgers. I like how he uses full government name there. Talk about the chitter, the cutter splitter. You want some love to Noel too. I respect that. I like that. All right. And what I love about this show is when I go to Dodger Stadium, I've got like kids that say they watch the show, every age, every race, every type of Dodgers fans represented. And here we got our guy Wayne, who has been a Dodgers fan since 1958. Here, give a listen to Wayne.
Hey, D-Mac. My name's Wayne. I have been a Dodger fan since 1958, the first year they moved to L.A. I was wondering if you've got any older L.A. Dodger fans. I'm sure there are a couple Brooklyns around. But anyway, I love your show, man. Thanks. Bye.
Big thanks to Wayne. Yes, we got Dodgers fans of all ages. I mean, if there's anyone in the chat that wants to drop their age, kind of let us know. I mean, we are Rich Hill and Andy Pajes days away from opening day. Rich Hill, fan of the show, older side for a player, but yeah, let us know who's the oldest fan. I mean, I love that stuff. Wayne, big thanks for rocking with us here on Dodgers Dugout Live. I want to hear Wayne's stories about how he's seen this organization and this team just grow. I mean, imagine if you told Wayne in 1958 what the Dodgers were going to ultimately look like as far as, think about this. Think about where Wayne's at. Think about Wayne as a fan. Wayne has been a fan of the Dodgers before Dodger Stadium existed. Look, it's behind me. It's Dodger Stadium. You think of that. I mean, think about being a fan of the Dodgers without knowing the Dodger Stadium existed. That's how long my man's has been a fan of your boys in blue. But next, we got our guy Mike from North Carolina.
V-Mac, this is Mike from Durham, North Carolina. Go Heels. I got a two-parter for you. First question, Dodger bullpen is loaded. Who's the odd man out come opening day? And second question, What's the percentage chance a lockout leads to missed games in the 2027 season? Appreciate you, man.
I love it, Mike. Give him some love from Carolina. So he reps basically all shades of blue. You got Carolina blue, Dodger blue. Those Tar Heels, by the way, got a big win coming back on the Duke Blue Devils. By the way, John Shire, the coach of Duke, says that one of his coaches got punched in the face. There was 20,000 people there, my man. It's already Tuesday. There's got to be a video somewhere of that. Hey, only one got punched was Duke. They got punched in the mouth down the stretch when the Carolina Tar Heels came back. But Mike, thank you for calling the show. And to answer your question, the odd man out's gonna be really interesting. So I've been talking to Anthony Banda last couple of days, just kind of here and there, text, things like that. And Anthony Banda said a couple things. He said he effing loved being a Dodger, loved representing the city, loved putting on that uniform, and he's just hoping for another opportunity. And there have been some reports. Fabian Ardaya, he reported that Anthony Banda is gaining some traction as far as trade interest. And I could absolutely see a team going out there and trading for Anthony Banda. He still has one more year of arbitration left. A guy that is posting an ERA in the low threes, that has postseason experience, that from a velocity standpoint can hit 95, 96, 97. I just think there's a lot of potential with Anthony Banda. And honestly, I hope that somehow, some way he ends up in Dodger blue again one day. But the reason why I bring up Banda is that takes away a spot in the bullpen that you thought he probably would have had to have, right? And you look at the bullpen right now, who are the locks? You got Edwin Diaz, Tanner Scott, Alex Vesia. If they're healthy, Blake Trinan, Brusdar Graterol, we'll see how he performs. Jack Dreyer had a really good first year for the Dodgers last season. And then who else is there, right? You got Ben Casparius, Edgardo Henriquez, Will Klein, Kyle Hurt. Well, I think of that group, I want to see Will Klein, especially to start the year and get his ring, because he was a big part of that World Series, and the potential that he has. Will Klein is a guy I want to see get an opportunity early on. Ben Casparius, I think if you have him as a primary bullpen guy, we saw what it looked like when the fastball really played up, because the start of the season, the fastball was great. Second half, it started to get beat up a little bit, started to get slugged against. So will he have a more defined role? And then Edgardo Henriquez has that crazy triple-digit heat upside. So I think to answer the question, there's going to be a lot of competition, and I think it comes down to how they view Justin Robleski. Because will they use the start of the season to stretch out Justin Robleski and Ben Casparius to be a starter, to be a depth piece in the event that one of those guys, with Blake Snell dealing with some shoulder stuff, and Yamamoto, the workload, and also pitching the WBC. Tyler Glass now, he can have things tick up for him. Shohei Ohtani, of course, he's a guy that you're going to have on a very cautious limit, even though they said they're going to manage him like a normal starter. Roki Sasaki and Emmet Sheehan as well. So I think the odd man out, if I had to pick one, I think Kyle Hurt. I think Kyle Hurt's going to be a major factor for the Dodgers this year, but considering that he didn't come up last season and pitch for the team late in the year like he almost did, maybe you start him down there, then bring him up first chance, see how he performs, and he becomes a dude for you. I think Kyle Hurt is a guy that I have circled to be a guy for this team, but at the start of the year, he could be a guy that's the odd man out. Ben Casparius could be a guy, depending on how he performs, the role they have for him, it might just be a development and a stretching out thing for him as well. So I think I'm going to say Kyle Hurt, and Edgardo Henriquez, I think, still has some developing that he needs to do down at the minor league level. And the great thing for the Dodgers is you have a 13-pitcher limit, but you have 14 pitchers because Shohei Ohtani has two-way player status and doesn't count against your roster crunch. So as far as intriguing storylines, one that I think that you as a Dodgers fan should look out for is the emergence of Justin Robleski, and can Will Klein have that momentum carry over, and what does Kyle Hurt look like coming back? But it's going to be really fascinating. As far as the lockout situation goes, look, just talking to people around the league, talking to people at the winter meetings, the momentum that Major League Baseball has right now, with 51 million viewers tuning into Game 7, with the Dodgers forming a dynasty with the greatest player of all time in his absolute prime playing on the biggest stage, and then you also have Aaron Judge and the Yankees and Tarek Skubal and Paul Skeens. The game is really healthy right now. Attendance is up. Ratings are up. Baseball is hot in these streets right now. So you've got momentum. Do you really want to push for a salary cap that bad to where you're going to miss time and lose a lot of that momentum and potentially set Major League Baseball back for 5 to 10 seasons? Something in that realm like we saw in the mid-90s. I don't think Major League Baseball wants to do that. I don't think Rob Manfred wants to do that. I don't think the players want to do that. But it's going to come down to one thing and one thing only. Do the owners want a salary cap to the point where they're willing to miss an entire season like the NHL did? And do the players want a salary floor to the point where they're willing to miss precious games? And the owners might want a salary cap. The players might want a salary floor. Do we keep it status quo? I think for this time around, there's just so much at stake that salary cap could be a part of the future. Salary floor could be a part of the future. But I think this time around, considering how strong the players' union is, it'd be absolutely catastrophic for them to miss time. And guess what? If there's a lockout, sure, that's one thing. But if there's missed time to start the season and you don't have a full 162-game season, then you really start to piss off the baseball community. Because guess what? Fans don't give a crap. They genuinely, like, you guys are hardcore because you guys do, but most fans, they don't care. When they just say it's spring, where the hell is baseball, right? And when baseball's gone and you tell them that multimillionaires are arguing with multi-billionaires, they're like, bro, we're out. Call us when baseball's back. And they don't follow it along the way. So I think that both sides have to have just a really good understanding of how this is very, very a very, very important time for the sport, and you just can't lose that precious momentum. So percentage chances, based on what I've heard, I would say less than 10% that they're going to actually miss time. Lockout, 100%, but I think like we saw a couple years ago, lockout, but you don't have the missed time, and they understand that that's where it really starts to hurt your league. So at least I'm trying to be optimistic, at least right now. And who knows, does that change if the Dodgers win the World Series? Does that change if the Dodgers trade for Tarek Skubal and give him a massive contract before the lockout begins, right? I mean, there's a lot in play here for sure, but I think that all the powers that be, unless the owners are just a bunch of greedy losers that want to kill baseball, I think that baseball is going to be fine, and they're going to play in 2027. Our last caller is from our guy, Jackson. Let's hear from Jackson.
What up, D-Man? This is Jackson from South Pasadena. Dodgers Dugout day one here. They said that Kyle Tucker is going to be batting second or third in the lineup. So big question, who's moving down? Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
Wow. Call of the day. Call of the day. Absolutely. Rack him for sure. Give him a let's go Dodgers. Let's go Dodgers. So, yeah, Jackson brings up a good point. Dave Roberts said at Kyle Tucker's press conference that Kyle Tucker is going to be batting in the top third of the Dodgers lineup. Just as we had suspected, they're not going to sign a guy, give him $57.1, $60 million a year, however you want to look at the contract, make him the highest paid AAV player, and bat him fifth, especially someone that can opt out after his second season. He wanted to come here to be in the best position to flourish and thrive as a hitter. Now, Kyle Tucker has very balanced splits. He hits lefties about just as good as he hits righties. And so does Freddie Freeman. So the big question there, if you're Dave Roberts, do you look at their career splits and say, well, since they're both good against lefties and righties, do I even have to factor in the staggering of the lineup? For his career, Kyle Tucker against right-handed pitchers has an 877 OPS with a 276 batting average. Against lefties in his career, has an 842 OPS with a 268 batting average. So even splits, but still better against righties than he is against lefties, but pretty negligible at that point. And then you look at Freddie Freeman throughout the course of his career. Freddie Freeman against left-handed pitchers versus right-handed pitchers. Against righties, Freddie Freeman, a 937 OPS. Against lefties, an 807 OPS. Against righties, a 311 batting average. Against lefties, a 274 batting average. So a little less of a balanced split. And I think what you're going to see, Shohei Ohtani, of course, bats leadoff. And then behind him, you start with Mookie Betts to see if he can get back to the hitter that he's been throughout most of his career, which is a 30 to 40% above league average, all-star level hitter, then get you anywhere from 25 to 39 home runs, get you 20, 30, 40 doubles in a season, dynamic base runner. If Mookie can return to that, he's your number 2 hitter. If Mookie struggles and is on the decline of his career, then I think Mookie goes from your number 2 hitter to goes down in the lineup like we saw in Game 6 of the World Series when you had him batting down that lineup, batting 4th, and then Will Smith, I think, becomes your number 2 hitter, and then Kyle Tucker is batting 3rd. And now against lefties, that's the big question, because I think you see Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Kyle Tucker, and then Freddie Freeman, righties. You got him still in the cleanup spot. But then you also have Will Smith. So against lefties, could we see a lineup that includes Shohei Ohtani batting leadoff, Mookie Betts batting 2nd, Kyle Tucker batting 3rd, and then Will Smith batting 4th, and then Freddie Freeman batting 5th against lefties? That's the big question. I think that this could be one of the most fluid lineup changes that we see for the last couple of seasons, just because Kyle Tucker is a guy who's going to be batting in the top 3rd, and Shohei Ohtani is going to be batting in the top 3rd. Those are the only 2 guarantees at this point, is Shohei and Tucker batting in that top 3. But as far as the 2 spot, that could be Mookie, that could be Will Smith. Also, you could even see Kyle Tucker batting 2nd behind him, and then Will Smith batting 3rd, or Mookie Betts batting 3rd, and Freddie Freeman batting cleanup. So I do think the biggest takeaway here is we could see Freddie batting down in the lineup against lefties more than we have, but there's also a guy that is on pace to make a run at 3,000 hits, and you know he wants to get those hits. So, yeah, I think the number one thing you need to look at as far as lineup construction early in the year is how Mookie Betts looks. Because if Mookie Betts is struggling, they're going to have a conversation about moving him down and Will Smith up, and that's kind of where that is. But, yeah, big thanks to all of the callers out there. And like I said, if you want to hear your voice on the number 1 Dodgers podcast, definitely call in. Call the show at 415-952-3622. That's 415-9LA-DMAC, and be a part of the show. I got John Aguiar says, yeah, the lunchtime gang is here. Are you guys a lunchtime gang? Do you watch the show during the lunch hours? We appreciate all you guys, because now it is your time to shine on the show. It is your time to shine on the show, because now it's time for the 7th inning stretch where we get to the chat. So I answer all of your thoughts, comments, and questions about your boys in blue.
The 7th inning stretch.
All right, we got Bilal K. It would be great to have Kwan batting 2nd one day. There, I said it. I know we're not talking about Stephen Kwan, the big 2026, after we just signed Kyle Tucker, but someday, maybe. Keith Potter, what's up? How you doing? 100% he should be in the Hall of Fame, and he's not even done yet. He already has 3 World Series titles, maybe 6, 7 by the end. I believe you're talking about Mookie or Shohei. Give me your guys' lineup, though. So Tucker should bat at most 5th, in my opinion. A.U. Potter. We've got Pika Peak. What's up? We got Craig Osterberg, Sammy Boy Smith. Pika Peak, the Dodgers. Number one reason why MLB is still in business right now. I mean, for sure. I mean, they're not the reason why they're in business, but I will say the Dodgers are the biggest reason why baseball is back in the national conversation and why casual fans in the mainstream has started to talk about it more. I will say that. This is my nighttime. Where you at, Andy Chen? We've got A.U. Potter. Freddie's not batting cleanup. He's been batting to walk off. Look, I mean, I personally, if it was my lineup, I would just trust. I would move Mookie down probably, and I would go. I wouldn't have an issue stacking 3 lefties just because how good they are against both sides. But you just don't want to have that hurt the bottom of the lineup, right? So I think that's kind of where that's at. So Mookie and Freddie are probably going to be batting in different situations this year. And then other thing too is if Will Smith, depending on how good he is, he might just be so good and coming into the prime of his career, really, where you can't deny him as your number 2 hitter too. So that's something to consider as well. We've got thanks for Cedar, appreciate that. I'm on the clock. We've got, I just noticed Conforto is not even signed yet. Wow, that's from Stephanie Can't Curry, appreciate that. Darko, do more teams walk Ohtani instead of pitch, taking the base versus potential home run off of the bat? Yeah, I mean, if the rest of the lineup isn't performing well and you're not getting the bottom of the lineup, the number 8, 9 hitters, to have any kind of on-base ability, that hurts Shohei just because he's going to the plate where pitchers can either pitch around him and just no traffic on the base pass for no run-scoring opportunity. So that's certainly something for sure. OC Dar 415 area code. What is that? Yeah, we're taking over. We're taking over the area. Yeah, that's the number we got. Do we have any info on Gavin Stone, Sun Razor? Yeah. Hopefully we'll get caught up with Gavin Stone early on, and I think he's a sneaky contributor this season. Not that he was not going to get an opportunity, but I think for Gavin Stone, there's a lot of people talking about River Ryan, but Gavin Stone should certainly be a part of the conversation. J.Y. Kim, is Ryan Ward in the lineup? I wouldn't say to start the year just because he's an outfielder and their outfielders are set. You've got Teo in left, Paz in center, and you've got Kyle Tucker in right. We've got who do you foresee getting called up this year? I think Tibbs is kind of a sneaky one. James Tibbs III. If the Dodgers need some depth, a guy that can get called up. I mean, if Alex Freeland doesn't make the opening day roster and they go with Hae-Sung Kim and Rojas at second base, I think Freeland's a guy who's still just 24 years old that you could still see get some development and get a call up too. So I think that's there as well. Pika Peak Stone should be working out with Yamamoto full time. Hey, I think there's always looking too. Andy Chen, so with Banda gone, who's the Dodgers lady killer now? I'll ask you guys that. Who's the Dodgers lady killer now? I mean, Kike is going to be back, and the ladies always love some Kike Hernandez. I don't know. Yes, we're doing Laser Live later for sure. If you guys haven't yet, subscribe over there. But yeah, who's the Dodgers' new lady killer? I guess I'll, let's see. Senzel was a former 5-tool prospect in the Reds, or Keith Potter for sure. He is potential there, no doubt about it. Sammy Boy Smith, Betts would be great in the 8 or 9 hole. Yeah, he's not going to be batting past 6, that's for sure, at the very worst. I think Mookie's such a guy that, like, you just can never doubt the dude, and I just wouldn't be surprised if somehow, some way, we kind of we're talking at the end of the season, like, wow, like Mookie Betts did it again. Just when we started to doubt him, just when we thought the decline was here, he proved us all wrong once again, and Mookie is a top 10 to 15 player in Major League Baseball for sure. What did Nando say? Nando, River Ryan had too many cheeseburgers. No, River Ryan just put on some muscle, baby. That's what's up. River Ryan, that's the man. River Rye him. That's what he's going to be this season. But, guys, we are running out of time, so let's get to the walk-off.
The walk-off.
Hits the ball to right field. She is gone.
All right, so we're talking about the WBC a lot, and you got this lineup here. Saw this lineup here posted, and the conversation was people are debating if the Dodgers could beat this lineup. And the United States roster, their projected WBC lineup, you've got Cal Raleigh at catcher. The DH is Kyle Schwarber. First base is Bryce Harper. Second base, you got Gunnar Henderson. Shortstop, Bobby Witt Jr. Third, Alex Bregman. The outfield, left, you got Corbin Carroll. Center, Byron Buxton. And then right field, you got Aaron Judge. And their rotation, you got Skeens, Skubal, Webb, Ryan, and Boyd. So, I mean, you look at the bench, too. You got Ernie Clement, P. Crow Armstrong, Paul Goldschmidt, Will Smith is the catcher. You got Terang. The bullpen, you got Bednar, Clevenger, Holmes, Jax, Keller, Kershaw, McLean, Miller, Spire, Waka, and Whitlock. Look, this is a team of all-stars for sure, but do they have team chemistry? Have they gone through battles together? It's a short series. And I don't see Shohei Ohtani's name here. Oh, and I don't see the World Series MVP's name on here, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Oh, and if Raleigh's going to start for them, do we get Will Smith, the guy who hit the game-winning home run in the World Series? Look, all I'm saying is maybe the Dodgers don't win this series. Maybe they don't. But I think the fact that we can even have the conversation as to could they force a seventh game, could they even win this series, it speaks to how great the Dodgers roster is. The NBA All-Star Game this Saturday is going to be the USA versus the world. And yes, the Dodgers wouldn't want to do this because it would give them a competitive disadvantage moving forward because they would have to use their pitchers and their bullpen. But if you wanted to have the highest rated All-Star game in the history of All-Star games for any sport, if you did the Dodgers versus the other All-Stars in Major League Baseball, it would be a must-see event. It would draw World Series numbers. You could get it on pay-per-view, and who knows if the Dodgers would win, but it would be absolute cinema. And if you want to talk about the Dodgers ruining baseball, well, let's see. So that's my dream, is the All-Stars versus the Dodgers in Major League Baseball instead of the All-Star Weekend. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. Do me a huge favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit that like button on your way out. And also subscribe to the Dodgers Nation Discord. Go to gearup.la for the latest Dodgers Nation merch. And the biggest favor, go to the LA Sports Report, subscribe, comment King Tuck so you're eligible for a Dodgers number 30 Kyle Tucker jersey. Special thanks to all the lunchtime gang, everyone dropping comments throughout the show, and our callers. And if you do want to call, you got the number. You can be a part of tomorrow's show. But that's going to do it, guys. And remember that nothing, absolutely nothing, brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
Start the party, Los Angeles! Your Dodgers have won the World Series!
And when the upcoming winter gives way to spring, rest assured, once again, it will be time for Dodger baseball.